For this project, you'll need a glue gun, tape, I use packing tape because it's easier to cut down to size, and a pair of scissors. Everything else is included in your kit. So first you're going to start off by folding the foldable that is included. You want to fold on the lines, on the score lines of the side. So you fold over the score lines, that way they won't show up on the outside of your foldable hanging lantern. Next, you'll be folding on the score lines of the little flaps on the side. This is where the glue will be placed later to attach each tab to the next. Again, make sure you're folding over the score lines towards the center. That way the score lines will not appear on the outside of the lantern. Now you're going to be trimming down the tissue paper to size. This will help even out the lighting on the inside after you put in the lighting that comes with your kit. So what you do is you trim the tissue paper down, and then you're going to take a piece of tape and lay it over the back of that tissue paper and tape it to the inside of the lantern. Now this won't be visible from the outside, so you don't have to make it look pretty. I just cut off the edges, and as long as it's big enough to cover the hole, like shoot, whatever, it just works. So, don't spend too much time trying to make it look pretty, because you're not going to be able to see it after you close it up anyways. So you're going to be taping a piece of tissue paper behind each hole, except for the center one, because that later is where you're going to glue the attachment for the lighting. So this is the attachment for the lighting. It's just a little battery powered color changing light. You can see a little switch there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to glue on the inside of the bottom of that little light. So I start by doing a circle of glue around the middle center, just so that you have an idea of where you're going to be placing it. Be careful not to put any glue on the switch, because that's how you're going to be turning it on and off, and you don't want it to get stuck. Now we're going to start gluing the tabs together. So where you folded over the little flaps earlier, you're going to want to put glue on the very edge of that so that it's the least visible from the outside. Make sure you start gluing on the side that does not have the light attachment, because that side is a little different and there's a little bit of a difference of instruction there. So make sure you start on the side without the light. You only need a little bit of hot glue, so don't put too much, because the more you put, the easier it is to smear. After applying the glue to the flaps, line up the tabs at the score line so the edges are crisp and clean. You're just going to continue doing that all the way around this half of the lantern. So now that you've finished the first half of the lantern, it's time to move on to the second. Now you'll notice the tabs on this side are a little bit different because there's 3 instead of 1. So what you're going to do is you're just going to start gluing the tabs to each other like the first side that you did, and then we'll come back and do the top flaps at a later time. So now that you've glued all the tabs together, it's time to glue the 2 halves together. So you're going to go around and you're going to make sure that all of the tabs on the bottom are tucked in. And then you're just going to take your glue gun and run it along the top of those tabs about 2 or 3 at a time, because it'll make it easier for you to adjust the alignment. After you put the glue on, you're just going to line up the tops of the tabs with the tops of the other half, and you're going to pinch them together gently so that they are in contact and the glue can set. After you've let the first 3 or so tabs that you glued set for a few seconds, you're going to go ahead and lift up the rest of what you have yet to glue, and you're going to run the glue along there and then just repeat the step that you did in the last one. And then you can just take your pair of scissors and cut off any paper that might be hanging off the sides. And then congrats, you're all done. So that's your DIY paper lantern. Let me know what you think in the comments below and leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to. Thanks.